It's working today. Welcome everybody to the Community and Tourism Committee meeting on the 23rd of January 2025. Thank you everybody who's here. Laura, have we got any apologies? Louise, sorry, not Laura. Just
yes, we've got apologies from Councillor Morris and Councillor Motta.
Yes, we have got apologies from Councillor Motta. Thank you. Thank you. Have we got any declarations of interest? Nope. Lovely. Okay. I'd like to go through the minutes of the last Town Council meeting, which was the C&T meeting, which was held on the 17th of October. Has anybody got anything that they want to highlight or that we need to go over, or are we okay to approve these?
Did you say 17th of October?
I've got 17th of October on these ones. And what is that? Oh, no, they're just old ones. Sorry, the 21st of November. Everyone happy to approve those? Yep. I'll propose. Second, thank you, Councillor Googe. All those in favour? One abstention. Okay. Everybody just secretly running off. Those were approved, Louise, seconded by Councillor Googe, and Councillor Cheney abstained. Any matters arising? Oh, no matters arising. Lovely. And any written questions from electors of Newquay? No, none of those either, and there's no one in the gallery, so we are good to go. Number 6 on the agenda, sorry I jumped through those, but number 6 on the agenda is a CCTV manager's report. Charity?
Okay, so you may recall we had quite a few discussions about the camera at the Heron Centre. That camera has now been removed. I just wanted to get an official steer and have it minuted as to the fate of where you would like the camera to go, whether or not you want it to go back to the Heron Centre or indeed place it at Island Crescent, please.
I think from memory we were going on your recommendation on this, which was it to be put at Island Crescent. Is that, everybody else remembers the same? So I think if that's where you think it needs to go, then then we'll support you with that decision.
Thank you.
And for the record, I think it was partly because we felt that prioritising our focus, which is safety, was more important than subsidising their security, much as that's important to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I'll have a vote on that. All those in favour? Yeah, thank you.
So we've got a camera on the Anne's Cottage building at the junction of Central Square and Chapel Hill, and the radio links that make that camera function have failed. At the moment we've got some temporary spare ones in place, so the camera's working at the moment, but I'd just like to ask for the release of £1,385.33 excluding VAT to replace the links on that camera, please.
Second. All those in favour?
Yep. Usual stats are there for you to view, and then the only other thing from me is that the mobile camera that usually sits on Island Crescent has failed, and I'm waiting to find out the extent of that failure, whether or not it is completely broken or whether there's something that can be done to repair it. So just something to bear in mind, that you may want to purchase a whole new camera in the future if it has gone completely wrong.
What do you mean by failed? As in, it's just not. I'm not technical. It's not switching on. It's not.
Yeah, it's gone offline.
Not connected to the.
Yeah, it's gone
system.
offline, and our repair and maintenance engineers can't fix it themselves.
Okay.
They've sent it off to the company that makes the camera.
Okay.
because it's a mobile camera, they are more expensive than the permanent cameras that we have. But the good thing about the mobile cameras, they can be moved to hotspot areas. And that camera's lived at Island Crescent for the majority of its life. So I hope that putting the Heron Centre camera on Island Crescent will free up the mobile camera if and when we have a mobile camera, because it's gone wrong. And that's it from me.
Yeah,
Just some clarity, because again, I don't understand necessarily. What is the warranty on them? 3 years?
Not sure on the warranty of that one. They usually say that life expectancy for a camera is 5 to 7 years, but that camera's been bashed about
Yeah.
by the sea. It's right on the seafront, so I think that camera's 4 years old. So I assume it was 3-year warranty.
Yeah, and the warranty basically gives the service agreement for them to fix it, and after that they won't.
Yeah.
May I request at the end of this for a recommendation if it can't be repaired to be replaced?
are we going to wait to find out how bad it is?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to work out whether it's a complete failure or not. A whole new unit. Well, when we purchased that one, it was about £9,000. It was quite a chunk of money, and I'd have to get quotes and things. So I think we'll perhaps wait and see what the outcome is, and then go from there. If it's an easy fix, then that's the best way to go. But my mind is telling me that it's probably gone now for good.
Well, that's
So we're calling it API? Is that what the, because I've read through the 21 pager, which is really detailed. Is that what the API is for? It seems to, again, yeah.
Amy will have a lot more information in February about, costings and what's involved. But we were just looking for tonight whether this committee had any issues with allowing Shirley to do the admin side of this microsite in principle if it happens.
Has anybody got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I've got no major objections to this, and there's obviously need to be a bit more work and development and our understanding of what they actually entail. Obviously, you've just mentioned costings and what cost is the implications, who's going to support it, how much work is it entailing, who's going to quality check it, is the insurance, because information is going to come from numerous organisations, and we publicise it and it's found to be incorrect. Is there any internal people that are going to be looking after this site, clarifying what information goes on to it, or do the individual organisations will have access to this IT system to update it themselves? So there's a few things in there.
We will be the before it goes live. It will be down to us. It will be checked by us, and I'm sure Shirley, she's very capable, and I think the stuff that she puts on, but the other events people, they will have access to put stuff onto the microsite.
So it's a content management system.
Yeah, it's the microsite, so it won't be the Visit Newquay site, it'll just be that site, but we will be able to make sure that everything's, is right that goes on there. So we will be in control, really, but they...
Yes, Councillor Sri.
Just to return to the general 21 pager, yeah, there's loads in there, so definitely I think we all need another month to. I mean, I've had a look at it, and even then, you've kind of got to know a bit about it in order to interpret it. From what I can gather, I mean, there's lots of really good, obvious, good suggestions in there, like making it better for mobile, and just the what they call the map. The layout of the website to improve it. I suppose from what I can see, the big changes: do you stay with SimpleView or not? That is the kind of £20,000 question. I think in order to help, I think we know what SimpleView do, and this report by the third party have made it really clear what the options and the pros and cons are. I think it would be really helpful for the committee in making a decision, like with your input, would be to have a kind of. We need some quotes or some input from 3 non-Clearview folk who could put together something that's what they're suggesting, so that we can actually see whether it works and like quiz them. Because does that make sense?
Do you mean SimpleView to come down and do a presentation or something? Because they're more than willing to.
Well, I think SimpleView, we're clear on what they're already doing, and the appraisal of. The third-party evaluation report has made clear what they can do, what they can't do, what they need to be pushed to do with the next version. But I think in order to make a decision as a committee whether we continue with them or whether we take the alternative option, we would need some pitches and quotes from different organisations, potentially smaller, more local, more bespoke, in order to make that decision. You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the next meeting, we'll have all that in the report. I just wanted to give you the review, so you could, because it's big, it's
lengthy.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's detailed.
Very, very. So that's why I wanted to do that, and then sort of plant the seed with you, and then in February you'll have all the things that hopefully you need to make a decision going forward for whether we get a new website or not.
Great. Sorry, go on.
I don't know whether the contract with the developer, as in the developer, it would involve them being able to like give account to the report. Would they be willing, or have? I don't know. We've paid them presumably to do the appraisal. They may, because obviously explaining some of this is going to be much better with somebody in person
that we can ask questions
we can ask
to.
questions of. Is that,
Yeah.
if that's within their resource, then
I believe that when the original quote was done, I think it was said that he would come and speak to the committee. So
If there's no
that's-
additional charge, then that would be,
well, it's in the actual
in,
quote
so that's
that he
great
would
then.
come and speak to
Yeah.
a committee. So, you know, I can go back to him and just say, look, we've got to this stage and now your review's been read by the said committee.
Yeah.
So we could do that.
I was actually quite impressed by it. I thought it was quite comprehensive. I wasn't expecting it to be as comprehensive as that, so.
and in terms of the microsite, would it be possible for Shirley just to do a one-pager on what that would look like and what it would entail, just before we agree to anything? If she could just send us something to read about what this microsite is for, who the potential partners are, who the audience is, and a little bit more about the management of it. Because if it's a content management system and we're going out to general organisations to input, having ran a content management site before, it's challenging getting people to keep it up to date, because people will put on their events for February and then they won't touch it again until July, and it gets out of date very, very quickly, and it just, I just have concerns about that. So it'd just be useful to have something in writing about what the plans are for that microsite.
Absolutely, yeah, I can get that off her. If, as I say, unfortunately Amy couldn't get here tonight, but Amy would have had all that information because
Okay.
she's sort of been talking with
Cool.
Shirley and they've looked at sites and different bits and pieces.
Lovely, okay.
But I can get that for you. But it's just.
Or should I
need to
just
know
wait till February?
If Shirley, you know, nobody's got any problems with Shirley actually
None.
doing anything on the site. She just wanted to know if it was a definite, no, we're not having her touching this, that, or the next thing. And I think we all know Shirley, and she's.
Shirley's the local hero. I think it's
She
fine.
is, yeah.
My final question is, if we have a chatbot on the site, what would you like to call it? Becomes the mascot of the town council.
We'll put that out to the general public and
Yeah,
ask them
great.
for some sensible suggestions.
I think that's it from me, really. So, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Sue. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, next item on the agenda is the library report, library manager's report. Thank you, Joe.
I don't think I've got anything, nothing really other than what's in the report, which was just general information, except for to say, and I'm sure Melissa will talk about this a bit more, we are doing a St Piran's event again in March. So this time we're going to do it on Saturday, the 1st of March, because Ollangwella have agreed to perform, and they couldn't do the Wednesday, so we're just going to do it on the Saturday. But
This is the cream tea one. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it won't be a sit-down cream tea event this time. Just for numbers. It'll be a kind of circulating cream tea.
A walking cream tea
A
event.
walking cream tea event, yes. That's it. And then the only other thing to say, which I didn't put in the report, is to say that the arts-based bid went in before Christmas, and the deadline for us to hear is the 17th of Feb. So
Okay.
we should know next month.
Could you just give us a little bit of an insight into what went into that bid?
Into the arts
Into
bit.
the arts bit,
So
yeah.
we went for 3 workshops running at any one time. Numbers wise, right, okay.
Sorry.
So we sort of talked about, so with 3 groups, I'm not going to be able to do the maths.
Oh, we don't have to maths.
So we're
just-
talking about
just
3
overall.
groups running at any one time for a 12-month period,
Okay.
term time only. So the idea would be a group would run for 6 weeks, have a holiday break, then another group would run for 6 weeks. But there would be 3, if we can pull this off, there would be 3 running concurrently. And we went in we will start with, and we'll see what sort of, if we get it, we'll see what sort of response we went. But what was popular from the public vote was textiles, ceramics, and creative writing. So, we'll sort of, if we get it, we're hoping to start it in April, although I think that might be a little bit ambitious. But yeah, we'll see what we do, and we'll either do it based at the library or at Mount Wise Centre, depending on numbers, and then hopefully the idea is that at the end of that 12-month period we'll be able to use the library as a big sort of exhibition space, and people can show off what they've created. That's the vision. But yeah, so as I say, I think it's the 17th of Feb is when we're here.
Lovely. Councillor Surrey.
How much was the bid in the end?
Oh no.
It was some thousand, so
Yeah,
X
it was
thousand pounds.
sort of around, I want to say about 30,000.
Yeah, I think so. Because usually
that
Which I
some-
think was the
yeah.
max.
Yeah.
So it was underneath. It's within that kind of.
Yeah, the fact
without
that-
going into the next
Yeah, that's right.
level.
I know there was some conversation. I know Councillor Wright definitely commented an idea about whether we went with a freelance or in-house. I mean, I'm sure the decision's been made on the application, but was there any outcome on that? I just wondered whether the HR officer recommended.
Well, I think that was about. So there was the expert input would be freelance.
The artist.
So,
That was the artist.
yes,
Yeah.
but there was in the bid we've put in a sort of like an administrative role really, and I think the discussion was whether that was we had to go
We
to
went
advert
out,
for that one,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't know whether we actually any resolution has been. I think maybe we were waiting to see what the outcome of the bid
Yeah.
was.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Cool. Any steer on that, Joe?
Sorry, this is a Kira and Joe project, so I don't
No
really
idea.
I don't have a lot of input. Louise has just advised me, I think Sally's looking to head up the comms element, so I think there's a mix of internal and external
Yeah.
in terms of how we're going to do it.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okie dokes. Thank you all for those lovely reports so far. Next item on the agenda is the Corporate Services Report and its events. And we do have our events coordinator here this evening.
We do. Hello. So the working party met up on Friday, just gone, to discuss the calendar events that is, as you all know, continuously being updated as we go along. We have a basic outline and work from that. One of the main things was to change the Easter egg hunt, what was our first time doing it last year, change it to the Saturday, because there was a lot of things going off over Easter and on the Sunday, so we've not got multiple hunts that day, which I think we all thought were a really good idea. And then from that, we kind of got into how we want to collaborate with more other organisations. So to create like a Newquay at Easter, and rather than us do ours, someone else do theirs, and try and get it more, Newquay's great, look what we've got at Easter, all of us, all the organisations doing it. So we kind of want to go forward doing that with all events in a way, but it is a big task, so it's not going to happen overnight. But I think with the Easter, we could really do a lot of like cross PR and advertising, and we'd advertise them, they'd be advertising us, and I know we've got the resources to maybe produce the adverts with our designer that they all could use in a way, and then it's more united, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So that was one of the main things. And then another thing I wanted to make you aware of was we have got I think it's probably going to be our biggest event that's been held on the Killicourt yet, which will be the Newquay Food Festival, which is coming in July. It's not us that are organising it, but we are working with them because it will be, I feel, probably the biggest event we've had. And I think that'll make open a lot of doors for future things to be held on there. And then we have also got a new event at the Concrete Waves, which will be, I think it's a UK skate and surf expo. I know they've already started advertising it, but they want to hire the Concrete Waves for one of the days, and I think that's going to be a weekend-long thing, held over Boardmasters weekend. Is it? Did you not be to that today?
No,
Oh, right, yeah. I think it's held over Boardmasters weekend. When it's all, they're working with Boardmasters on it.
So it's the same one that have done it over the last couple of years. They didn't do it. They didn't do it last year.
Concrete chaos, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, point of information or order. I'm not quite sure which one, but I've just had an email from Shirley Williams saying, is the meeting on? So I don't know whether the live stream is working. I think she's faithfully tuning in.
She missed us saying that she's a legend.
I'll email.
I have to say it again.
So was it not on?
No, it is on.
Okay.
But I assume, have a look at the other end.
No, I'll just let her know that it is now on, so she can join.
I mean, we've been on the whole time, so it is on. But
Okay.
I assume there's a joining issue, so I will check.
Thank you. Sorry.
Sorry, Melissa.
Okay, so I can yeah, so the Skate and Surf Expo, I think, is going to be quite a big event as well, and be good to be part of that in some way as well. Even I know Concrete Waves is councils, and it's got a good reputation as it is. So that will make it even more recognised, won't it? So
Great.
and we did talk about having at events what we're partnering with or helping out or letting have the killer court for like community rate and things like that, or to have the flag there, wasn't it? We're saying in partnership with,
Yes.
you know, so our name gets out there with these, working together with the community more as well. And then the next thing was I've attached an events budget where we're up to so far for this year of spend, and an events calendar with what we'd worked out for the budget previously for the this coming year. And I think the way we was looking at was how communities and other organisations could access more funding from us through a bit of an easier route than the way it is at the minute. And if you want to elaborate, go ahead.
Would you like to lead on that?
Yeah, sure. So I think a number of things came together because you, Melissa, were talking about the number of hours that you were having to give to deliver the events that were currently on the calendar. So that was on the table. And then I think we established that an event that Liz is taking a lead on with a town council hat on, and I realised there had been some money put aside for Connecting on the Core. We were realising there were other events that we were quite specifically supporting, which kind of got us on to talking about how we could potentially more proactively support Newquay-wide events without organisations having to go through the funding. So we think about the funding process. So we're thinking about Carnival, think about St Piran's, we think about, we had Zombie Crawl, bid came to you formally and asked us to consider. So I think part of the opportunity now was to at least discuss, at some point, I guess, Joe, I need your steer on this, we'll be able to bring in some changes on this, but it does have ramifications to funding, has ramifications to looking at existing budget and how it's being spent. It's also about potentially drawing up kind of more formal partner agreements ongoing, basically.
Apologies, we're trying to she said that it depends really what you want to do. So if you wanted to, let's say, as an example, you had an event already in your event calendar that was budgeted and that collaborative, together, Melissa didn't feel that she could necessarily achieve it to the same standard that she would like to because of the kind of resources, then you could, if it's an existing event and an existing budget, you could put an expression of interest out to any interested organisations. Just give them what your budget is, a brief of that event, so what you want from that event, what do you want that event to deliver for the community, etc. Maybe it's just some bullet points or some evaluation criteria. It doesn't have to be War and Peace, doesn't have to be a formal tender or quote process. It can just be a very kind of simple expression of interest, and then just test. Her emphasis throughout the whole conversation I had was it's got to be, you still have to test the market in some way, shape or form, and it's got to be fair and transparent. So you can't just say, right, okay, we've got nuclear sessions, Melissa can't deliver that. Well, I'm not saying she can't deliver that, that's wrong.
Melissa would like to collaborate.
Would like, or farm some aspect of it out. So you could, so you could do that if it's in your existing budget.
Okay.
But if you want to do a completely brand new event that's in addition to what you're already doing, and let's say you wanted to partner with someone else to do that new event, then she did say that you probably do need to do some kind of, at least a grant process, similar to what we would do, but not, she wasn't a massive fan of our grant process anyway. Okay. So our grant process used to be more flexible, and it used to be a case that if someone wanted to put on an event, they could just come to this committee, provided there's like a month's notice.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what she said, you could go down that road if you wanted to be more flexible, but you have to kind of bear in mind that you've got a current grants policy which is an established grants process. So the time to change that is May.
So we're looking at potentially queuing up a change of system that can chime with the change of budget and personnel. And
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, she did say that you, for example, if you wanted to use your existing budget and look at kind of doing something different with your existing events, you don't necessarily need to do the grant process for that. You can just go out and get some expression of interest. It's only when you want to add new events, and you also need to kind of work out what are you losing. So if you're going to be doing a new event, then what event are you not doing?
With the, just for clarity and for my brain, with the expression of interest that you mentioned, so what I think we were talking about and proposing slightly different to going out and finding somebody to help run an event. It's more about
what the existing.
What is existing, and finding and creating a way to have more partnerships in place where Melissa is working on the annual events that we have each year, but we've got kind of named partners that we work with on those, and some of the event budget goes to that partner delivering an element of that. So it's kind of, it would be something that we would establish over the year, and there would be different partners. It wouldn't necessarily be the same partners each year, and it wouldn't necessarily be the same partners for each event. It would be different, but would because of the council's kind of tender policy, is that something where we'd have to go out and find, or can we just...
No, I think it sounded like she was quite open to it being more flexible than that. I think the first thing you need to do is look at your events calendar and look at what events that you want people to partner on as the first and foremost step. And then I think that's what we kind of need first. So
where's the best form? I mean, obviously, bringing, one of the reasons why I requested the budget and the list was so that potentially that kind of thing could be begun to be talked about now. But is it better for this work to be done by our member or some members and just put forward as a or by the events working party to make it
with Anne's input and then bring it back
to committee? Okay. And presumably we wouldn't, so therefore you would get to a point where you would avoid going, who would like to run a carnival? Who would like to run a zombie crawl? Please do an expression of interest and go through the rigmarole of knowing that there really are only people of these. We could avoid that, basically, is what I'm saying, ideally.
Not having to go through a tendering process.
Yeah. I mean, it's to a certain extent.
But you could apply to be a partner. Pitch an idea of how.
I think she was open to it being flexible, but you can't necessarily just go to one person that you just think is the kind of most appropriate person. You do still need to at least try and go to
Demonstrate that everyone's had a chance to
Yes.
to apply to be a partner with their event.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe if the RFO could attend the next working party meeting, we should be able to crack on with some ideas ready for May.
I think that if you have a look at your events calendar and look at which ones you want to do that partnership with, so ones which Melissa's going to run completely on her own, ones which feel slightly larger and would benefit from a partner being involved, and what would you want that partner to do as part of that event. So I think that is the exercise to be done, breaking down every single event and then, right, okay, that section of that event we would like someone else to work with, and that, I would say that exercise needs to be done and then bring it back.
And presumably quite sharp. So ideally this year we could potentially just make that decision as long as it's transparent for the year ahead. But if you wanted to build on that the following year, you could, with 3 months ahead of the year, say partnership applications are now open. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, just like the Surf Expo is in September. I'd told you it was Boardmasters weekend. Boardmasters are involved with it. It's not on the weekend of Boardmasters.
I have no update from the bid managers, just his report for noting.
One of the ideas we've had today was instead of putting, we have new key sessions that we have pretty much every weekend through July and August. And last year we did change it up a bit by adding a schools out disco, and we had an open mic event, so it wasn't the same thing every weekend. And, what we were talking about is the market that bid run are wanting to do it more further through the town, so further up to 4th Street, all the way up East Street, and they are going to put a stage on. They've got a stage that they already own. It's quite a little good one. We used it for our Christmas, in our Christmas market. And they want to put music on outside post office, who have agreed that that's not a problem. They close at 12:30 anyway. And it's quite a good bit of space there. So my idea was to June, the market in June, July and August, instead of putting the sessions like one band or two bands on the Kilcourt, actually put them on there. And we run that part of it, and then we're not seen as always putting everything on the Kilcourt, and we're spreading through town a bit more, and we'd manage the band. I mean, it's a singer and a band maybe each week. We'd manage that, look after that. We've already got Martin as our security, and me and him would manage that bit. It'd be probably easier for us as well, because they put the stage up. And everything like that. The bands bring their own PA, so we don't have to. We've got a small PA should we need it anyway, which would be fine for that, because it's not as big a area as the Kilcourt. Like, just something different as part of kind of like our sessions.
That sounds great. That's the three.
So those
The three, and then
days.
the other three, and then the other three in August will just go at the Kilcourt. So you'll
So
try and
the
you do a
August,
mixture.
Obviously, we have Boardmasters. July. So we would add an extra one in by having it in on the June, which we don't normally. So that kind of gives our what we call out of season bit an extra bit of boost. And then we'd have the sessions market on the July. We've got the big food festival, 10th to 13th of July. Then we would have what we used to call our opening sessions, which is the big full day of music, what people do like. But instead of having two of them, we opted to have one, I think, this year. And I think change the name to something like New Keys Big Music Session, something like that. So it's not called the opening and people don't expect an opening and a closing. And then we have our Schools Out Disco, which was very successful last year, so we want to keep that. And then you've got a different age range thing going on then, haven't you, each weekend? Then it'd be the market sessions again for the August. Then it's Boardmasters, which we don't normally do anything for Boardmasters because it's
And there's Pride as well coming in somewhere there.
yeah, and then we've got another sessions where we could put, maybe that could be our brass bands day, so we're trying to get one of those in. And then we'd have what would be our closing sessions, but we kind of don't want to do a big closing sessions because we have a summer finale pretty much 2 weeks after that. So it's a bit pointless kind of do. So on that sessions, we'd keep the budget a little bit higher to try and get like a little pantomime or something like that to finish our stuff on the Killer Court. The following week then is Pride, which is now Pride, Cornwall Pride, rather than just Tanuki Pride, so that will probably be a bit bigger. And then that would be then our summer finale for the 6th of September, which the Harbour are doing their event. And the market runs through the town, joining the two up together on that day. So it's because people do like to do the Harbour and the because that's a bit older with the cooking, and then they bring the kids to the summer finale. So that has always kind of worked well together. And we've spoke to the Harbour today as well about making that a big
wide event
on one big poster rather than just two. So that was like the summer plan, which is slightly different. But
So you're going to mix basically between the post office stage and the Killer Court. You're going to try different things, different times over that.
Different ones instead of them having that on and us having that on at the same time, and we can then incorporate that, and people we'll still put our deck chairs outside the post office. I'm sure people enjoy it.
Street drinkers.
Well, they're closer to bargain booze. We'll have to have the police there with us to monitor it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Great stuff. Okay, number 11 on the agenda is terms of reference. This is for us to discuss and make any recommendations on the Community and Boarding Committee's terms of reference.
Yeah, really minor changes. One is following full council's request for Councillor Creek to be a substitute on this committee. So I've not named him in terms of reference, should anything change, but like planning is just labelled as you will have a substitute and accepted on the committee. The other changes, I do apologise, I made those revisions quite a while ago and I didn't appreciate I hadn't actually brought them to this committee. Until this is opted, yeah, but too late, so it's already Thursday. So, yeah, we could just completely turn it down. So, do what you wish, but those are the recommended changes, which is the retrospective change of date and the addition of substitute. And I've just tidied up the events as well, because some of it is really historic. Some of those events we used to support, and there were long-standing events that we used to support, but we don't really anymore. So
Only that we may be returning to a similar kind of thing.
very true, but I've renamed a couple of them. So I tried to concentrate it more on events that we actually do, and the landmark key ones, not because if you put every single event in there, you kind of restrict yourself. So that's the only reason why I made those changes. Recommendation to full council, please, if you're happy with them.
Happy to recommend to full council? Yeah, I'll propose. All those in favour? Thank you very much.
No correspondence. I keep putting this on here because I'm trying to wrap up and get a retrospective approval for the Blister Arts grant, but we can't do that because if you leave council, the right will be in court. So the only other possible option, and I'd have to discuss it with the clerk, is whether it just goes straight to full council and just gets it finally done. But it's been done, it's been agreed by email. It's just to get a retrospective minute reference. That's the only purpose of it, really. So I'll see what the town clerk wishes to do with that one.